what better way to explore the vast, beautiful countryside of Baja than with Baja legend himself, Malcolm Smith. Malcolm has been riding motorcycles for 40 years now, and he's laid tracks on some pretty spectacular country. Since the early days of the Baja 1000, he's been exploring the countryside and varied terrain of Baja, meeting the warm and wonderful people. He has found some of the most interesting trails and routes through this last vanishing frontier. Because he wants to share Baja with other enthusiasts, in 1996, Malcolm hosted the first annual Malcolm's 6 Days of Baja. This video shows highlights of the 1997 second annual ride. This event included 6 riding days through the countryside of Baja, ending in the resort town of Cabo San Lucas. It took riders along the beaches, through the Bujum and pine forests, crossed the spectacular Baja Sierra mountain range several times, and traversing of the desert to the tip of Baja, more than 1,300 miles. The ride was challenging but not difficult, generally following dirt 2-track roads often used on the long Baja 1000 course. The route deviated occasionally from the race course to allow for more spectacular scenery and macho loops for those who just never get enough. Moderate springtime temperatures, friendly people, great food and camaraderie, opportunities for exploring and discovery all helped riders experience Baja at its best. After a quick stop at Don Mackey GMC to pick up the chase trucks, it was off to Mexico. Any trip to Mexico is always an adventure. Ours began early in the afternoon at the border crossing in Tecate. Mexican officials decided that Malcolm could not cross the border with more motorcycles than there were people in his group. After several hours of negotiation, the standoff was settled with an agreement that all the motorcycles had to be unloaded and pushed across the border individually, and then reloaded on the Mexican side.
Just one bike at a time. I can't believe it. Oh well, it'll make a good story.
After finally crossing the border late into the night, it was on to Rancho Santa Veronica, the starting place for many Tecate enduros. It was a great place to start a Baja adventure, allowing riders to relax, take care of last-minute preparations, visit with each other, and check in before attending the opening banquet.
The next morning we got up and left at 7 o'clock, rode down through the pine forest where most people have no realization there's actually a big pine forest in Baja. There's actually a peak in Baja 10,000 feet high, and it was covered with snow this year.
tough down here.
Unfortunately, early on the first day, rookie rider Emmett McLeany came around a corner and nailed a big rock. He broke his collarbone. Fortunately, it was the worst injury of the week. Emmett stayed in good spirit and ended up riding some of the final days. Motorcyclists are tough people.
I'm having fun. I feel sorry for anybody that's got a problem though.
Yeah.
This is really pretty country with the Ponderosa down there and the drones.
We sure are having fun, yeah. I'm quite not used to this bike, but I'm having fun, but maybe the bike isn't, I don't know. I've been all the way down to Cabo, San Lucas.
Oh.
Dick Betancourt took me down there years ago.
Okay.
And we've got Dick along here, and I formed to keep him in Baja because he always loved Baja.
All right.
Our deal with Dick and his son, John.
Good trail. I didn't know we were going that way. That's the old race course.
Really?
Just raced that a few months ago.
Yeah, another victory too, huh?
Again. That was
Congratulations.
a great race.
All right, going for 3 in a row?
3 in a row. Trying to be the first four-wheel vehicle to ever win 3 in a row.
Wow.
Larry Rossler, he doesn't count. He's won too many in a row to ever count on a motorcycle.
That's right.
But, 2 in a row, that's the most anybody's won on the four-wheel. So, one more time.
Fantastic. We must have a little bit of rain just before we started, and, maybe a couple days ago, so there wasn't even that much dust.
All right.
Good traction, good roads.
And I was thinking, Baja's given me so much, how could I give back a little? And so we started researching into where we could put some money into down there, and we found this international child care orphanage that's being built in Valley Trinidad. And last year we were able to give them $10,000. This year we paid them to do our lunch and we'll donate quite a bit this year. It's mostly American people building it. It's all designed in the USA. The International Child Care, the building department is called the service station, and it's not a retired minister. He's actually fairly young, but he felt like he was, the church didn't let him kind of do his own thing. He had to do exactly what they wanted him to do, and he didn't want to be a minister anymore. So he started this service station where he coordinates all the building for all the international child care facilities all over the world. Really nice guy, Fred Cornford.
It's perfect. You couldn't ask for a nicer day than this. Sure beats working for a living, I'll tell you that.
Real good time.
Yeah?
Yep. It's surprising how pretty this country is down here. It's not all deserts. Colorado-type ponderosas and a lot of variety. Can't wait to get the ocean.
Fabulous ride. We made it to lunch, that's what made it to lunch, yeah. Then we'll make it over to Mike's Sky Ranch and that'll be even better.
It's a fairly tough day because we go clear to Valley Trinidad, have lunch at the orphanage there. They furnished us a real nice lunch. And then from there we go over Mike's Sky Ranch. And out of Mike's, it's a very difficult, rocky climb. And we actually had to help some of the people up the rocks. It's rock stair steps up a face. And we had service there with Sherm Cooper. We had Dick and John Betancourt's ashes. And Dick Betancourt he was a motorcycle dealer and longtime Colorado 500 rider and racer that died, and he used to go to Baja a lot. He would come into the warehouse out there with about 10 or 12 guys, and they'd buy all their equipment and everything and go to Baja the next day and ride for 8 or 10 days down to Baja. And he died, and where his widow had his ashes, he sold that house. So I guess it was an urn there or somewhere. They dug up the ashes, and his son John Betancourt, who used to be a Daytona road racer, Sherm had the ashes on the back of his bike on a rack with 2 gas bottles. The rack broke off, and in the middle of the road, the well driller from Idaho came upon the rack with the oil bottles and everything. The guy that was struggling with the KTM, John, picked up the rack because it had the bottles and didn't know what these other packets were, strapped it to the back of his bike and rode out. And I helped him get the bike started, and I asked him what this rack was, and he said he found it on the road. And we get to lunch, and Sherm Cooper is very upset because he lost his rack. And I said, well, there's only a couple water bottles on there. What's the big deal? And he said, well, how do you know? I said, oh, well, we have it. And then he explained to me the ashes of his best friend, Dick Betancourt, were in this rack, and his son, John Betancourt. So we climbed the rocky grade out of Mike's Sky Ranch, and right up at the peak there we had a funeral service and spread the ashes around us there, about 8 of us.
Well, we're on just past Mellings Ranch, heading for the Pacific side.
It's awesome.
How's the ride been?
Oh, it's great. Small villages are really neat to go through. The trails have been really nice, and the part of it was really fast. Have to watch out for the cows.
Yeah, all right.
It's really neat. A lot of fun.
The ride's been absolutely awesome. Now we're just trying to figure out how to get down to the beach, get to the hotel, and have a relaxing afternoon.
It's just fun. Beautiful country. Pretty amazing to go from being up there where you can see snow on the peaks to back down here and going to the beach in a couple minutes.
And we went down toward Melling Ranch, then out to the coast on the Pacific coast, and rode along the beach in the sand for quite a while, and probably about 25 miles we actually ride right on the beach, and then up the sand dunes and back into the hotel. And that was, that day finishes at the old mill. It was an English settlement. The English homesteaded that. They got permits from the Mexican government in the 1800s to come in there and try dry farming. And they're the ones that realized all that good farming soil was there, and there was plenty of water out of the rivers. So they farmed there, and the place we stayed at and ate at was the old mill. That's where they milled the grain. And that's why they had the boilers and all the equipment up in the attic there of the restaurant. And then the next day we rode away from there by the Old English Cemetery. You see that, Gary? It's about, actually on your way down there, there's an English house that a Mexican family has completely restored with the windmill and all the settings around the farm setting. And we went by the English Cemetery. We didn't stop this year, but we stopped before. And there's all the English names and on the cemetery.
I thought it was worth the side trip, even if it's two-way.
Yeah, how'd you find it?
Just follow roads, you know me. Yeah. There's a road, you better go to the end of it. See what's there. I think the tide's coming in.
From there we went to Mama Espinosa's in El Rosario, had a big breakfast, lobster omelets, and big live lobster in there when we came in, and Dennis Lorette held up the lobster, the biggest one that was still alive and kicking, and kissed the lobster. Kissed it on the belly. See these fossils? Mama Espinosa, been my friend since 1967, took me in here and fed me when I was starving to death.
I remember she was me, James Carter, Carmelli Jones, Vicky Johnson.
Bill Straw.
Oh, yeah, Walter Evans, Bob Carroll, Mary McGee. And my mind is gone to go now.
Yeah.
I remember the good old years. That road to people, heading to the American way.
Oh, waitress.
Yes, sir, that's the best part.
Yeah. That was the best breakfast I ever had.
Hey, all right. From there we rode up the canyon and followed some of the old missionary trails. the original missionary trails up the mountain into the higher mountains, and then out on the pavement down to another little town about 15 miles down the road, and then over to the old Baja 1000 course and the missionaries route to Catavina.
I wouldn't miss this for anything. I'm so impressed that this guy's 72, 73 years old on this ride. I plan on doing it when I'm 100. This countryside here is just absolutely beautiful. Wouldn't miss it. Wouldn't miss it. It's just incredible. The scenery and the trails and getting along with everybody and the camaraderie of all the guys is it's fabulous. And what's great this year too is I can't wait for my son to be 18. He's 11 this summer. And to see all the guys this year that brought their sons, it's awesome. It's a great experience for a father and son. I can't wait till I get to do it. Second Baja 1000, Parnelli and I found this supposedly shortcut. This was the old road, and it was really rugged and rocky. And what we just came on was a lot smoother than the course. And this is where they intersected right out into the canyon. Before Catavina, there's big cactuses and huge big boulders, sand-rutted roads that wind through it like a roller coaster, just berms, shot all the way through it. Called Catavina, and that used to be the old main highway to Baja. Until about 76, there was no paved road down through Mexico, and that was the main highway. And the truckers would go about 100 miles a day on that road. From Catavina down to Laguna Chapala, there we had lunch, and then from there we went southeast to Coco's Corners. How's the food?
How's it going?
Right. Right. Great. Everything's great.
While most of the riders took the route described by Malcolm, a few diehards stayed in Catalina and had lunch with Malcolm before taking a macho route to Coco's Corner.
That was all right.
Well, you just head off this way, and what happened in Mexico, the counties, this is the county of Ensenada, and they came down here with a bulldozer and they put markers up here where their county line is, and they bulldozed down off the face of the mountain, and then came back with the bulldozer. Anyway, we came down here in December with Cycle World magazine, Danny Laporte and Jimmy Lewis, and went off it down into the canyon and kept going down the canyon to the San Felipe Road. Very interesting, because when you drop off, you have no idea if you're going to make it or not. We know you can now, though, so not so exciting.
Take some of that surprise away, won't it?
Yeah.
And all of you are up for this?
Drop off and you don't know whether you're going to make it? You know if you're going to make it now, you're not in it. No, I know that you can make it. Just because you can make it doesn't mean I can make it. You can make it.
Are we having fun yet?
Thanks, Malcolm. Hey.
And Coco was a guy that used to help with the Baja 1000 races in the old days. And he has a wooden leg, and he lives out in the middle of nowhere. There's no water or anything, but he has a beer plantation. There's a lot of big, tall cactus he's planted there, and every beer can he sells, he wires the beer can to the cactus. And the wind always blows in this location, and there's thousands of beer cans on these cactuses. There's a whole wall of these big, tall cactuses. The beer cans clink and clatter all the time. And he says he grows the beer there, puts it in his freezer, sells it to the tourists that come in, and then they go to the bathroom under the cactuses, and then the beer grows again.
How long have you lived here, Coco? 7 years? Yeah, he used to be a business
All my cotillos in here, I plantation the beer. You can see where there's a red beer and the trees. And I got this beer and I growing here and I put it in my freezer and I started the beer. So you rain your beer and I put it back again. You
drink your beer, it goes into your stomach.
And the stomach will go to the ground.
And from there out to El Crucero, the pavement, the people that wanted to could go down the pavement, or the people that wanted to could follow the Baja 1000 course. And the 1000 course is really fun until the last 3 or 4 miles, and then it's great, big, deep sand whoopie-doo, and really wears you out. The sand's so soft you can't get going, and the bumps are so big you're just plowing through them. From there on to LA Bay, which is a spectacular bay with all the islands out there, and we spent the night there and had a big dinner together. Oh, it's gonna be great. What a morning, huh?
Good. We're gonna go ride with Malcolm, Team Pioneer here, and go do the adventure loop through uncharted terrain. Hopefully, as many people as leave will arrive tonight. So we'll see if we can make that happen.
And one group of us got up at 6 in the morning and went really early down the gravel road to San Francisco, and we had a breakfast at San Francisco. Early morning breakfast. We had lobster omelet again. We really suffered here on the way of meals.
Larry, you need to sign up.
Sure.
Fun ride.
You bet.
Journeying to places no man has journeyed before. Truly an adventure.
Malcolm, what are you getting ready to do to these young guys who don't know any better?
Well,
Oh, that laugh says a lot.
well, it's a pretty good adventure down here. We used topo maps and GPSs and figured our way through 140 miles of bad terrain. So it'll be very interesting.
All right.
It should be a lot easier now after I know which way to go a little bit.
The early start was offset a bit with the first of several flat tires during this adventure. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew got off to a more relaxing start.
Hey, time to get ready for another good day. See that, Arnold? Sun's coming up.
You bet.
It's gonna be perfect out there today.
Feeling strong. You gotta give it a try, huh?
Try. May fail, but I'll know soon. Stickers!
The relaxed pace of the regular route allowed many of the riders to take time to enjoy the local residents and local products.
And the Corona's even better.
Margaritas are wonderful. Those are great.
And they're great.
As for the Pioneer team, the adventure begins.
Yeah, the adventure begins. Xavier and his wife Shari, who run the place, Shari stayed there and did the cooking. Xavier recruited 2 military commanders and their Hummers, and they took gasoline for us down the coast about 30 miles until the road ends. And at the road end, we came out and there's military Hummers and all the military police there with their machine guns, but they were just there to give us gas.
Okay, Malcolm, how did you get the Mexican army to meet you out here in the middle of nowhere and give you gas?
Well, I know Xavier, and he has pull. Xavier off-road raced with Mike's at My Sky Ranch.
Ah.
Co-driver for many years.
Okay, so it's still out here, it's who you know, huh?
That's absolutely right, always in Mexico. And from there on, there's no road, a trace of a resemblance of a road. You're just along the coast, and you're trying to find a way down the coast. Sometimes it's on the rocks on the beach, sometimes it's up on the cliffs, side hilling up and down little canyons. It's not a straight shot at all to get down there. There's one great big deep canyon, and before when we pre-ran it, we couldn't find our way around the canyon. And we started looking very closely, and there's a little cow path. If you go up into the mountains, you can get on this cow path and come back and get on the other side of the canyon. And from there, you just follow little cow trails and dry lake beds and go down the coast. I think it's probably about another 30 miles and then turn inland and go up a real rugged rock wash. And we did the scouting of this with the GPS and topo maps and figured out where we were going to go. We picked up a road that comes up that they built to view the cave paintings. And then we came out south of San Ignacio and then back into San Ignacio. San Ignacio was established in, I think it's 1760, the mission was built there. And they have date palms, there's rivers there, there's 2 lakes, a town square, a beautiful old mission that was built in, I think, 1760.
Tomorrow we ride. Tonight we drink. Tonight we drunk. We drank. Money.
A great dinner.
Gary, what do you think of that adventure raft?
It was pretty wimpy.
Then you have to do it tomorrow again backwards.
He wants a belt ride, you know.
I think I'd have a plasma bag if I did that. A little cactus and what have you, you know. It was fun though. But I was sure thirsty. I drank a half gallon of water at that little time.
Oh, man. It's so good. Okay, have fun.
We're excited.
Be safe.
Yeah. Right down the beach.
All right, down that 17 miles or whatever it is a beat. More than that.
The motorcycle's going to have a hard time keeping up with it.
Okay, don't run him over.
The next morning, everybody got up and rode to the west coast, down to the salt flats, where they whale watch in San Ignacio Lagoon. We rode along the edge of the lagoon, and then farther south on the salt flats to San Juanico. It's a famous surfing spot called Scorpion Bay for the surfers. And we had a big lunch there with Jamie out on the point.
While the riders headed to the Pacific coast, our cameras caught some of the scenery seen by the support crew traveling the pavement along the Gulf Coast.
An exposition in Paris back in the late 1800s. And the people that lived here in the city, the French-speaking people, wanted to have a place to worship, and so they kept petitioning the officials in Paris to build them a church. And one of the officials had seen this as an exposition in Paris, and it had been disassembled and put in storage. And he remembered it, and he went and talked to Gustav Eiffel and got him to sell it to them, and they put it on a ship and shipped it over here and reassembled it. It became the place of worship for the official company church.
And then we rode on the beach south of there, but the tide was up, so we had a problem. Jimmy was going down and then telling us the tide was coming up too much, and some of the people had to go out to the paved road, but the later people that left could actually ride down the beach all the way. So we had two routes there, and then the routes came back together later on, and then back out on another beach. The other beach was good because the tide was down. Then we rode up a good gravel road to San Miguel de Camaraderie. It's another very old Mexican village in a canyon with a lot of water and palm trees, and it's like you've gone to Spain 200 years ago or something. These old buildings, old storefronts. We have gone through this town now twice. We did it last year and this year. And then 3 miles from there, there's another, it's San Jose del Camaraderie. It's another town, and there's orange orchards in this narrow canyon, pomegranate orchards, grape vineyards growing. And the minute you get out of the canyon, it's just dry desert again. And from there we rode back to the east coast with the Gulf side, and which is Laredo. We stayed overnight there.
Oh my goodness.
Malcolm ran me off the course. He was trying to pass me and he couldn't make it. And then I got him back though after I got out. That's about it.
The next morning, rode back up the road we came in on and went to San Xavier Mission, had a tour of the mission, and then out to the west coast via Constitution, down the pavement about 30 miles, fueled up, and rode out to the clam camp out on the bay, the Magdalena Bay. From Magdalena Bay, there's a little sand, 2-track road through the bushes that is the most fun. It's like a bobsled run. You bank way up on the side for each turn, back and forth. 2 guys can go abreast down it really fast. And you can't see far around the corner. You only see about 20 feet, but you're going about 40 miles an hour, or 30, and just banking around the corners. And that road finally ends going south, and we just cross country through the cactus and sand dunes out to a big sand dune, then right off the face of the sand dune down to the beach.
There was plenty of playtime after reaching the beach.
Down the beach for about 20 miles, inland for about 5 miles to get around a big lagoon, back to the beach again, and when we got to the other beach, the tide was up high again, so some people had trouble. They would drown out the big waves that come in as they were trying to get around the rocky points, and the salt water knock them over and kill their motorcycles. Yeah, that's where Sherm lost it. And Kent had to tow him to get the water out of the engine, get him going again. Yeah. And then from there, we went back out of the beach at the lighthouse, Punta Conejo Lighthouse, and back inland to pick up the Highway 1, and then Highway 1 into La Paz. Back into La Paz for the 5th night.
Hello?
What happened to you?
Well, we lost the top end and the KTM.
Oh,
No compression.
no compression.
She's sunk down.
Jimmy, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. What are we doing?
Vamos por la sonrisa. Yeah, we're gonna go ride the sunrise this morning. Only 3 people have done it all week, so let's go.
The next day is an easy ride day, and some of the group just went over the mountain, rode along the coast, which is a beautiful coast because you're right at the edge of the coast all the way around the Cape to Cabo. And then a small group went with me up into the interior mountains. And the interior mountains are unbelievable. The pine trees, not pine trees, I'm sorry, big oak trees, oak forest. It's like Central California or something is how it looks. And we had a tour up in there and then back down to the beach and back to Cabo. And luckily this year we had very few, no serious injuries, a few minor injuries, and had a really good time.
The high tide made the beach riding interesting. It was quite entertaining to stop and watch the action. It was a great day to finish a great week. There was plenty of time for exploring and playing. Now Dennis just couldn't quit without a game of motorcycle tag. This is not a game advised for those who don't like to spend time on the ground. Having tagged Mark, Dennis and Mark both pursued Dean, who proved to be a formidable challenger on the Big Katoon.
Support team member of the year. Well, we got a lot of votes for a lot of the guys, but the definite winner was Kent Richardson.
All right, Kent.
Boy, I don't know what to say. Gosh, everybody, all the support team, I mean, they all worked at least as hard as I did. And, I just really appreciate the award. I think it's great. It was a super ride. I think everybody just deserves a big hand for just keeping their motorcycles running and just keeping everything together. I really appreciate being here. Thanks a lot for the award.
Timex Award, took the most licking and kept on ticking. Well, one guy, first tight corner and a big rock, I come around the corner and there's Emmett laying there.
Thanks a lot. I'd like to thank Malcolm for all his great work. He's a natural leader. And this is also for a dear friend who was, I was supposed to be his rookie, but he couldn't make it because he was ill. And that's David Rockland, Rocky Rockland. And this is for David. Thank you all. Thanks for all your help.
Don't forget the box.
I knew things were going bad right away when the orthopedic guy has crashed and broken. And he wanted to fly home, and we kind of discouraged him about flying home because we might need him later. Most helpful rider, Sherm Cooper. Sherm was always trying to help people, and Don needed some help, and his buddies wanted to ride fast, and Sherm took over for him.
There you go,
The Ambassador Award. I don't know how this turkey got it, but he did. Dave Mungan. Rider of the Year. This was a hands-down voting nomination, Jimmy Sones.
Thanks, guys. It's just a pleasure to be able to come down here and to help you guys have fun. It's just, that's the drive and motivation for all of it. The heart that Malcolm's got for showing you all the beautiful things down here. Thanks, I don't know why, but thank you very much. It's just a pleasure.
Thanks to all you guys. I've met so many good friends and great people, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.